Testing. If whoever is in the room right now, can you let me know if you can hear this? I'm having some audio output issues. I just want to make sure it's not affecting the mic. Just type in, you can hear this, or anything in the chat box, please. And thank you. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Woo-wee. All right, we got it going. What's going on, guys? How are y'all doing today? It's been a hot minute. Hope y'all had a good New Year's, Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever kind of celebrations y'all do out there. Let's see here. I'm just kind of doing a couple final touches. I'm running out of a temporary office. I had some water damage. Luckily, it didn't get into my computer or anything recently, so that was good, but it sucks. I had to clean out the whole office, and so that's been fun. Had some ill family members too, and been a little under the weather. So yeah, it's been a interesting start to the year, but overall pretty decent, I would say. Again, if you're just tuning in, this is your boy Z-Rex with No Noise. And we are coming at you live here on January 8th. It's a little bit after the equity market close, which we will look at those a little bit later. After we, of course, go through Mama Bear, which is Bitcoin, you know, Ethereum, etc. All those fun cryptocurrencies that we all love. All right, let's just get right into it, because I'm going to go meet a homie here in a little bit to chat it up. We haven't seen each other in a while, so that'll be fun. You know who I'm talking about. All right, let's go to it. Let me adjust my chair a little. Alrighty. So here we go, where we like to start. On a good old coin checkup. It's kind of like, you know, Coin Market Cap, whatever. There's a lot of these websites. This is my favorite one, though. Anyway, we won't talk about that right now. Let's just get into the TA, baby. All right, so Bitcoin kind of flat today. You know, here's some of the bigger movers. I'm sure everybody's been watching Ethereum's huge run up. pretty much doubling off the lows in a quick, orderly fashion. I'm sure that was because of this fork that's coming up here in the next about a week or so. I think the 14th-ish, give or take, probably a few days, is the target area. So not really big surprise. I'm sure there's some kind of free tokens that people are getting, maybe not on Ethereum, but I know this isn't like a traditional fork, it's more like an upgrade, but still seems to be bringing some hype into the market. Some of the bigger movers here in the last week, Tron up good. Let's go look at it real quick before we get into the majors. Where do we go? Oh, where is it? There we go. Yeah, wow, beast mode in Tron. Look at this. Got you nice and bullish down over here for a second, mid-December. Crossing up your 144, this purple. So it's been holding up pretty nice since mid-December, kind of blowing off, even going over the long-term support. So that is pretty interesting, actually. Sitting at about a little over 2.5 cents. Let's check out a daily. Yeah, daily even looks pretty good too. Flagged out right here. This is definitely some flag action. This, oh my goodness, can't see that, can you? Hold on. Change that back to pink. There we go. So you can see definitely a flag there. If you kind of take that measured move, looks like we're about to hit it. Maybe another few cents. Kind of putting you up here actually with all this action. So that's very likely. Definitely not touching this for a long position, especially when we look at Bitcoin and the other ones, you'll see kind of why. Yeah, some of the other ones, Monero looking pretty decent. What did I hear about Monero recently? Something, I don't remember. They were accepted somewhere. Oh, Fortnite, that's what it was. I don't know the details, but I thought that was interesting. Neo, man, Neo. I have not talked about Neo in a hot minute. Let's go check it out. Getting some resistance here on the daily 55. Trying to get bullish, but you can see on DMI a little weak. Let's go to 4 hour. Yeah, 4 hour looks okay though, except for this being right up against your red 377 moving average. That's a longer term one, so yeah, it's probably about exhausted its welcome there. Speaking of possibly exhausting welcomes, let's jump over to Mama Bear. Here we go. Had a nice reaction off of this low here, this local low at around 3,200. Bouncing off of that fairly well. Some good follow through, dancing around the 21 exponential pretty much though for the last 2 weeks. Kind of can't really get out of its own way. We are grinding up the support dots right here. So that's a good sign, kind of compressing into, yeah, I guess you could kind of call this an ascending triangle of some fashion. Yeah, definitely. So a measured move on that guy would be, let's see, yeah, about 5K, which comes up right here on this longer term gray moving average, which is about the 987 exponential. You're probably like, where the hell did you get 987? That is a Fibonacci number. So all the exponentials that I use are fib numbers. And if you don't know what those fib numbers are, you can just go over here to the Google and just Google fib numbers right here, see? And you can get you, I like this one, it's just super simple. List the fib numbers, and you can see. So the fib sequence is you just add the previous 2 numbers, and it equals the next number, and that holds true all the way through. One thing I did notice too, I don't know, it's a little off topic here, but I thought it was interesting. I was just researching some fib stuff, and I noticed if you look at the last digit, the very, very last digit here, and ignore everything else, if you add those 2 up, the last digit will also hold true in the fib sequence, which I thought was kind of interesting. But anyway, I digress. There you go. That's where I got that from. There's the 987. There's the 377. There's the 144. 55, 21. There you go. Boom. But yeah, so I use fib numbers for extensions. Anyway, back over here to price action. This is definitely looking like an ascending triangle. You could easily make that argument for sure. Volume is okay. We are getting a little bit of above average here. What do we got? The daily. We still got a few hours on that. Right now it doesn't look great. It looks like a super doji, But again, yeah, we still do have a couple hours. Let's zoom in a little bit, see what we can see. All right, we've got riding that 21 exponential very nicely since this consolidation over here. And you do have a pretty decent confirmation with the DMI, although it was just this big spike. I'm not a huge fan of these. I'd rather see like consistent price action to the upside. Or if it is going to be spiking, do something like this, right? Have another one, consolidate, continue. This is going on for a little bit longer. I thought it would have spiked up on this one earlier this morning, but it got rejected pretty hardcore. So that's something to be aware of. I don't really like this price action here, this cluster from this morning for long positions. I am neutral right now, though. After we talked a whole bunch about not even entertaining longs on Bitcoin until we could close above the 55 exponential, which is this orange line here. At least we could get like a handful of closes on that one above it, and we did here, and it's been pretty nice since then. But as you can see, now we're kind of struggling to make some new highs, even on a lower time frame. You got 4 hour, it's a little bit short. We're not even able to get above this 40, let's just call it 4,200. Oh, your favorite number, 420. What did you not know about Austin? Refresh my memory. I kind of was talking about a few things. You talking about the fib numbers, maybe? Anyway, yeah, so we've got this riding up this trend line. It looks okay, but the only problem I have is this rejection on this hourly. This is not a pretty candle, guys. This one right here, not sexy at all. And now we're kind of struggling a little bit. Oh, yeah, the fibs. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and Fibonacci's and everything. If you don't know about Fibonacci, definitely look into it. It's pretty crazy. Plants, our bodies, organs, I mean, all kinds of things. It's pretty nuts. So that's why I kind of like to use those. Anyway, here we are just kind of struggling to get any momentum going here, and you can really clearly see that on the DMI as we like to just kind of stay sandwiched into the neutral zone. I guess the one bullish thing you could say is the bears are in the weak zone while the bulls are in the neutral zone. So that's a little positive. But I did take off of my protective shorts. So after this action and consolidating here for a little while around, this 38 to 4K level, I decided to take them off just in case we did have a little rally. I am just kind of neutral at this point. I'm waiting for this triangle to break out. And whether it's to the upside or the downside, just like a second ago, we were saying, hey, this could be a type of little ascending triangle, which is bullish and targets about here, about the 5K level. You also could make the argument that this is just a symmetrical type triangle here, and it just needs to break. And these are, pretty much 50-50 shots, which side it breaks on. So as we climbed into this apex, I just thought that it was a little bit better. Move that up a little bit better just to take off the risk. I mean, look at this. We're going right into this MFer over here. I mean, just right to it. And what's funny too is this crossover on Bitcoin, and I'll show you on Ethereum in a second. This crossover here on the trend line cross is right before the fork happens in Ethereum. Pretty funny, huh? It's like the market already digests the news and stuff, and it doesn't matter. That's weird. But anyway, if you listen to this a lot, maybe in the beginning I was doing news with it, but I just remembered that news sucks, and it's the biggest laggard, and it makes you trade shitty. So that's my opinion, of course, just like everything on this channel. But I just find myself when I don't read news as much, I trade way better, because subconsciously you'll get in there and you'll start thinking what crypto Twitter wants to say, and that could be a dangerous spot. All right, so 4 hour, we are starting to get back underneath the blue dots, and now if they're below, obviously they're support, and when they start curling above, they start turning into resistance. Now, this is not a place where I would take a long either. I am just neutral at this point, waiting for price action to let me know what's up. If we break above and close above, see how we tried to do it on this 4 hour, but this is a shooting shooting star type doji for sure, which is not that's a reversal candle for sure. But yeah, if we can close above 4,100, and that would put us right outside of this trend line on a 4-hour minimum, then I will probably take a small long with a short around 4,000-ish. And ratchet that up as the 55 comes up. But right now, I just don't see a point in it's just too much risk. This move that's about to happen out of this is going to be rather large for sure. And what's interesting, actually, let me take the measured move here, because I did this last night and I was like, huh, that's odd. So you go here, we did that one, puts you up in this longer term trend at low 5,000s. But if we take it to the bottom here, oops. Oh crap, I can't do it like that. Oopsie. So if we take it to here, let's say it kind of just breaks out in this range. The measured move to the downside is about right where the lows are. A little bit below, but pretty much right where the lows are. So a very large move is coming out of this apex, in my opinion. I believe it will probably be to the downside, just because the higher time frames, like 3-day and up, are still pretty bearish. But I mean, to be fair, the daily you do have on DMI, you do have the daily in the weak zone. The bears are in the weak zone. So that's another reason I took my shorts off, because I just don't want to hold the protection if we pop up to this trend, this longer term trend line, since the sell-off, or actually, sorry, since the sell-off really started back over here in January, last January. So I think there's a pretty good chance of it running up into that area, and I'd much rather protect here than here. So again, just waiting for price action to break. And since we haven't closed above the 55 daily exponential, which we've discussed a lot, you can't really get too excited long-term bullish until it can get above that. And this candle that's going to close today is going to be a real interesting one, in my opinion. But right now, kind of a neutral, trying to digest this. It is nice that price is staying in the upper quarter of this candle, so that's a good look. That would lean a little bit bullish, and you do have DMI on the 4-hour up here. So shorter time frames definitely are bullish. I don't think it's terrible. Maybe if you wanted to take a long here and stop out at 39 or 38, I'm not going to do that. But it's like I said, it's just such a bad risk. You're in the middle of this zone. What do you short here and stop out at 41, or you're long here and stop out at 39? I mean, it's like you might as well just wait for confirmation. It's only going to be another few more days. It's not going to kill you. Or if you sell options, this would be a good time to maybe throw on a strangle where you box in the price. So you like sell a call or put down here, and like maybe a call up here, and as long as price kind of does like this, or even like this, stays inside that range, you'll get paid. So that's fun too. But I know most people don't know about the options world, which y'all should. Go learn that. Get on Deribit. Put some money in there. You can trade with $20. It's great. Good learning. Good learning experience. All right, let's go look at ETH. The Ethereum. So Ethereum obviously having a gnarly run up here. Super excited. Look at this though. It with Litecoin was kind of a leader in the market turning around. Litecoin was the first one to stabilize over the 55 on a 4-hour. And we talked about it in a video back, I think it was like the 10th or so. And I was a little bit skeptical because it's Litecoin, right? But hey, it made it, and it did a good job. Flagged out here, flagged out here. Yeah, it's not really a flag. We got like kind of a double flag and just kept going. All this hype into the fork. Everyone got excited. I mean, I guess people, since the market's been so shitty, you know, an upgrade fork for Ethereum is super awesome news now. But do be cognitive of the saying, buy the rumor, sell the news, right? News is coming out. Let me box it up for you. News is coming out around this range right here. This red box is the fork time. So right around there. It's unlikely that this price is going to just keep going up. This is already, people were talking about it, it's forking, oh my god, it's amazing. Now it looks like it's kind of just distributing on people, and you do have something that I always hate to see, and that is a rounded formation. Those are never good. Those are signs of distribution. which would be the opposite of accumulation, right? This is people selling and getting out of their positions. And you can also see weakness too if you look down here at the oscillators. The DMI and the RSI are both sharing a similar story. Excuse me. They're both sharing a similar story. Let me zoom in on the RSI real quick. Oh my God, if I can. Jesus, I can't get in there. There we go. So if we zoom out a little bit, you can kind of see, I guess we don't have to zoom out that much. Right here, you've got some lower highs on RSI, higher. So you got some kind of classic divergence played out, and you do have the RSI crossing below halfback, which actually gives it the textbook proper divergence. Not that it's just making a divergence and staying in the higher upper range. It needs to come back to the middle part, around 50-ish, and then come up to make that lower high along with the higher high in price. That is the like an official version of divergence. Like, so let me just explain that a little bit more. So like down here, if this price action did like here, but then just came like to here and made the lower high, it never dipped back into the mid zone. So that wouldn't be near, I mean, it's still divergence technically, but it's not, I don't consider that a proper divergence, and how I like to look at divergences. But you do have that here on the 4 hour. Let's ratchet up to the day. The daily does have it as well. Yep, look at that right there. There's the touch to 50, and you've got here and here. And though that actually looks worse on the daily, because here is the previous closing high, here's the recent one, and it's still inside most of this wick too. So not the best. And we're right up here in the middle of this channel as well. I mean, we're at a lot of resistance levels. The best thing though to be on both sides, because you got to look at it objectively, the best thing for a long position though on Ethereum is that you are above the 55 exponential, something that we wanted to see with Bitcoin and have not seen it yet. And granted, this could just be from hype of the fork thing, you know, so it's getting a little extra push than most of the other currencies, which kind of, I think, is shown in the price action a little bit. But yeah, as you can see here, the momentum is waning. If today closes like this and kind of below this trend line, you could argue that that momentum has stalled. And, you know, you're like, well, wait, you could draw the trend line like this and it's okay. Well, yeah, you totally could, but then you're just like fudge. Like right here is where you've drawn it. Like this is a textbook way to draw it. Here's anchor, anchor, anchor. And then this happens. Technically, it's kind of breaking and consolidating below that. And that's why trend lines sometimes are a little bit iffy, because you can just like, oh, look, see, it's still in there. And that would still be okay. But, you know, don't curve fit, right? Leave it on there. It's technically kind of broke it. Now, if this horizontal right here kind of gets broke in this area, with this longer term exponential at about 140, mid 140s, it's not going to look great. I do think that this move is pretty much done, though, in Ethereum. Not that it's over, like we're going to new lows, although I do think that that is very highly likely. But at least coming back down here to test some of this range, maybe between 114 and 130-ish, and then we'll kind of reevaluate from there. But right now, this looks like just kind of the hype, buy the rumor. Here's distributing right now on the news that's about to come out here in just a few days, or I guess 5 to 7 days. So maybe one more good one, but I just don't really see it. The technicals aren't showing us that right now. Let's look at the hourly. Maybe we'll look at the hourly. Yeah, look, the hourly is getting below all of its moving averages now, all the intermediate ones, 21, 55, and the 144 purple. And the 21's actually crossing back below that, which it stayed above it this whole, whoa, what just happened there? That was weird. Okay. That was kind of odd. Almost like made my screen look different too. Sorry about that. Speaking of screen, let's go to the full. Yeah, as you can see over here, crossing above it, staying above the medium-ish term, 144, and this trend line. Nice, beautiful run-up, textbook tests. And coming all the way up here. But now look at this. Higher high. You got higher high. Higher lows, higher lows. Now, lower high, lower lows. Basic definitions of trends, guys. Don't overthink this game. Yeah, I don't know what just happened on my... But my chart definitely looks different. It even has like grids in the back, which I didn't have on there before that weird little flash. Odd. Oh well. Alright, it looks almost more gray too, doesn't it? I don't know, maybe I'm tripping. Litecoin. Let's check it out. Oh, Litecoin doesn't look too bad. Look at that, floating over here on the 21. Still riding up the 55. Not too shabby. Not near as bad as Ethereum, that's for sure. So Litecoin's actually